Part 7. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Ju. Chapter 61. Zhang Yanjiao patted Guan Lei's hand gently and whispered back, "Let's talk later." At this time, Mr. Zhang stood up, took a deep look at the whole family, and said with a sad face, "I'm a little tired and want to have a good sleep. Whatever you want to do, just go ahead and do it. Don't worry about me. Don't bother me either." Zhang Yanjiao and Guan Lei couldn't help looking at each other as they watched the old man enter his room and close the door. Guan Lei had a bad feeling. She asked Zhang Yanjiao worriedly, "Will something happen to the old man?" Zhang Yanjiao sighed softly, "It'll be okay. I'm just recalling the past. I'm so excited and sad. Let him have a good rest first. We'll go in and see him later." Guan Lei sighed softly, "What do you mean by the grudges of the older generation?" Zhang Yanjiao sighed quietly, "If you want to blame them, just blame them for being born in that unstable era." Just when the couple fell into silence, Zhang Hua reminded weakly, "Dad, Mom, should we tell Tianxing about this? Maybe Tianxing will have a way to find that person." The person Zhang Hua was talking about was naturally the biological half-brother of his father, Zhang Yanjiao. Zhang Yanjiao's eyes lit up, "Yes, the person who tied the bell needs to be untied. We must find him to untie this knot. Xiao Hua, call Tianxing immediately and ask her if there is any way to find me. A real brother. Okay, I'll hit her right now." Zhang Hua took out his cell phone and dialed Shen Tianxing's cell phone number. At this time, Shen Tianxing was teaching Duguzixi to practice magic in the life space. Duguzixi's cultivation has improved very quickly, and he can cast some small spells. Hearing the ringing of his cell phone outside, Shen Tianxing said to Duguzixi, "Zixi, you practice here first, and I'll go out and see what's going on." Duguzixi nodded, "Okay, come in as soon as you're done." Shen Tianxing also responded with a smile, "Okay." Watching Shen Tianxing's figure disappear in a flash, Duguzixi continued to practice his magic. After seeing Shen Tianxing's powerful abilities, he is now very eager to become stronger. Only when he becomes stronger can he be qualified to stand by Shen Tianxing's side and protect her. Shen Tianxing stepped out of the life space, picked up the mobile phone outside and saw that it was Zhang Hua's call. She quickly picked up the call, "Hey, Zhang Hua, it's me." As soon as Zhang Hua heard Shen Tianxing's melodious and calm voice, he felt that his anxious mood had calmed down. He said to Shen Tianxing, "Tianxing, my grandfather is awake and has been discharged from the hospital. Thank you for the health elixir." Shen Tianxing smiled and said softly, "You're welcome. Do you have anything else to do when you call me?" Zhang Hua asked in surprise, "How do you know?" Shen Tianxing said teasingly, "You have forgotten, I am a little strategist." Zhang Hua was so amused by her, but then he thought about business, and his face straightened. "Tianxing, I'm calling you not only to tell you that Grandpa is fine, but also because we asked my grandpa and he knew I learned some not so good past events, and may know who was responsible for our family." Zhang Hua concisely recounted what Mr. Zhang said to Shen Tianxing, and finally asked her, "Tianxing, we just want to ask you, can you find me, the uncle by blood? Today happened to be the weekend." Shen Tianxing originally wanted to go home, but now that the Zhang family had something to do, she could only go to the Zhang family to help first. Shen Tianxing replied to Zhang Hua, "Let's wait until I go to your house to see the old man." Zhang Hua said happily, "Okay, then we'll wait for you at home." Good. After Shen Tianxing hung up Zhang Hua's phone, she called home first and told her father that she couldn't go home today because of something else. Shen Wenru knew that his daughter was older and had her own life circle, so he didn't ask any more questions. He just told her again and again, "You must pay attention to safety outside and protect yourself." Hearing his father's murmured instructions, Shen Tianxing felt warm in his heart and responded sweetly, "Dad, I know." After saying hello to his family, Shen Tianxing entered the life space again and said to Dugu Zixi, "Zixi, I have something to go out for. You can practice here by yourself." Dugu Zixi frowned slightly, "What are you going to do? Can I go with you?" Shen Tianxing smiled at him, "It's a classmate of mine who was harmed by someone doing this. I'll go over and have a look, but you should stay away and practice hard." Dugu Zixi was a little unhappy when she saw that Shen Tianxing was unwilling to take him with him, so she just hummed and warned, "Then be careful." "I got it." Seeing that he looked a little unhappy, Shen Tianxing kissed him on the face again, coaxing him and saying, "I'm leaving, you have to work hard. I'll come in to accompany you when I'm done." After saying that, she quickly escaped. She was afraid that if she delayed any longer, Dugu Zixi wouldn't let her go, or would pester her to come out together, which would be troublesome. Dugu Zixi is an eye-catching luminous person. If she takes him out, others will definitely think wildly. She is still young now, and she doesn't want to cause any scandals such as puppy love and make her parents and relatives who love her worry about her. Jingxiuyuan, where Shen Tianxing lives now, is not far from Zhanghua's home. Both families are near Sichen No. 1 Middle School, and it takes about 15 minutes to walk there. By the time Shen Tianxing arrived at Jiang's house, Guanlei had already prepared a large table of dishes and was waiting for her to arrive. As soon as she saw Shen Tianxing, she held her hand enthusiastically and said, "Tianxing, come in quickly. Auntie has cooked a few dishes today. I want to thank you very much. Let's eat first, and then we'll talk after dinner." Shen Tianxing glanced around, then his expression suddenly changed, pointing to the innermost room, and asked in a deep voice, "Aunt Guan, who lives in that room?" When Guanlei saw Shen Tianxing asking about this, she replied with some confusion, "It's my old man who lives here." When Shen Tianxing saw the aura of death lingering in that room, he exclaimed, "Oops, it's not good." Zhang Yanjiao, Guanlei, and Zhang Hua's hearts trembled as soon as they heard Shen Tianxing's words. Seeing that Shen Tianxing had already rushed towards the old man's room, they quickly followed him. Shen Tianxing twisted the doorknob and found that it was locked inside. He immediately used his spiritual power and patted the door. Boom! The lock on the door was smashed by Shen Tianxing's palm, and Shen Tianxing rushed into the room. Seeing Mr. Zhang lying on the bed surrounded by deathly aura, Shen Tianxing's heart sank. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 62. She walked over quickly, opened her eyes, and checked Mr. Jiang's body. As a result, Shen Tianxing felt regretful and helpless. Mr. Jiang, who had finally saved his life, took a large amount of sleeping pills and committed suicide. They discovered it too late. Mr. Jiang's soul had already dispersed. Even if the Deluo immortal descended to earth, he could not be saved. In Shen Tianxing's eyes, Mr. Jiang's life flashed by scene like a movie. She saw what Zhang Hua had told her before. From these pictures, Shen Tianxing saw the suffering they experienced in that era, which was more touching and heart-wrenching than it sounded. It was really hard for people living in that era. Everyone has so many difficulties. Shen Tianxing sighed softly and stood up straight. When she turned around and saw Zhang Yanjiao, Guanlei, and Zhang Hua all looking frightened and uneasy, she sighed again and said to them with regret, "The old man took a lot of sleeping pills. We found out too late. Uncle and Auntie, please forgive me." Hearing Shen Tianxing's words, the three members of the Zhang family widened their eyes in disbelief. "Will not. Impossible. How so?" Zhang Yanjiao pounced directly on Mr. Zhang, crying heartbreakingly, "Dad, Dad, Dad." Guanlei and Zhang Hua also crowded forward and stretched out their hands to detect Mr. Jiang's breath. When they discovered that Mr. Zhang had indeed lost his breath and even his body was cold, Guanlei and Zhang Hua burst into tears and sobbed. Zhang Yanjiao threw himself on Mr. Zhang and cried loudly, "Dad, why are you doing this? Why? If you have something to do, can't you discuss it with your son? If you just let go, what will happen if you leave your son behind?" Huh? Wu. Shen Tianxing's eyes were full of sadness when he heard this. She was afraid that if she listened any more, she would cry too, so she walked out silently. Walking to the living room and sitting down, Shen Tianxing thought that the family of three would not come out so soon, so based on the information seen in the sky, he began to use hexagrams to calculate the fate of the man named Wen Zhishan. Wen Zhishan is the son of Wen Dongmei and Mr. Zhang. His life was actually quite miserable. When he was young, he had been living in poverty and violence. In such a difficult era, the only thing that could give him warmth was his loving mother Wen Dongmei. Every day he saw Sun Hongbing either beating or scolding Wen Dongmei, and even often domestically assaulting him. The hatred for Sun Hongbing in his heart became deeper and deeper. After he saw Sun Hongbing brutally murder Wen Dongmei with his own eyes, this deep-seated hatred reached its peak. He pretended not to know that Sun Hongbing killed Wen Dongmei and chose to remain silent. He also cooked a table of good meals for Sun Hongbing and prepared a bottle of good wine for him. But he put rat poison in the food and wine, and easily killed Sun Hongbing. After killing Sun Hongbing, Wen Zhishan felt that the sufferings of his mother and son were all caused by Mr. Jiang's family. Therefore, before Wen Zhishan fled Su City, he went out of his way to find Mr. Zhang and let go of his hateful words that he would come back to avenge Mr. Zhang, hoping to return one day and make Mr. Zhang miserable and regretful for the rest of his life. Mr. Jiang's suicide was not only due to his guilt towards Wen Zhishan's mother and son, but also his guilt, helplessness, and despair for having caused Zhang Yanjiao and his son to be retaliated by Wen Zhishan. The old man also hoped that his death would make Wen Zhishan give up the idea of revenge and stop pestering Zhang Yanjiao and Zhang Hua. He also hoped that he could let Zhang Yanjiao and Zhang Hua go. I wonder if his two sons know about his painstaking efforts? Can his two sons shake hands and make peace from now on? Shen Tianxing looked at the hexagram display and found that Wen Zhishan was in the northwest of Su City at this time. Just when Shen Tianxing was thinking about whether to tell Zhang Hua and the others, Zhang Hua walked out. With red eyes, he walked up to Shen Tianxing and said to Shen Tianxing, "Tianxing, we don't want the old man to pass away under the name of suicide. We only claim that the old man died of a brain tumor. So, please tell me what happened today. You help keep it secret." Shen Tianxing nodded, "I will keep it a secret. Don't worry. By the way, I have calculated the location of your uncle by blood. Look, do you want to go find him?" Zhang Hua looked at Shen Tianxing and begged her, "Tianxing, can I ask you to help our family again?" Shen Tianxing nodded, "How do you want me to help?" "I can help, and I won't shirk it." Zhang Hua looked at her with gratitude in his eyes, "Tianxing, I know you are very powerful, and I also said that my life will be yours from now on. So, I want to trouble you to help me go and bring my uncle to find out and tell him about my grandfather's death. What will he say? If he really wants to fight us to the end, we will continue to fight him even if we lose everything." Shen Tianxing patted him on the shoulder, "Don't worry, I helped you with this. I will go find him now. If possible, I will bring him here." She was originally looking for Wen Zhishan, and only through him could she find the evil way that harmed people. Seeing that Shen Tianxing agreed to his request without hesitation, Zhang Hua was even more grateful. "Tianxing, thank you. Thank you very much. After our family's affairs are settled, we will definitely thank you properly." Shen Tianxing patted his arm, "Then I'll leave first." Although he felt very sad now, Zhang Hua still maintained his demeanor, "I'll take you out." Shen Tianxing quickly waved his hand, "No, you go see Uncle Zhang and Aunt Guan, Let them take care of themselves and don't be too sad. Okay, then be careful. Tianxing, please. After Zhang Hua finished speaking, he bowed deeply to Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing quickly ducked out. When he reached the roadside, Shen Tianxing reached out and stopped a taxi. The driver was a middle-aged man. After seeing Shen Tianxing get into the car and sit down, he asked, "Little girl, where are you going?" Shen Tianxing smiled at him and replied, "Master, please drive northwest. I will tell you when we get there." The driver's uncle gave Shen Tianxing a strange look. "Little girl, isn't there a specific place name?" Shen Tianxing shook his head. "No, you just need to drive northwest and take me for a ride. Here, I'll give you 100 yuan first. When you get there, I'll make up for the rest, okay?" "Okay." When the driver saw Qian, he didn't say anything more, started the car and drove northwest. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 63. When the taxi arrived at Daowen Hotel in the northwest direction, Shen Tianxing asked the driver to stop. "Master, please stop here." "Okay." The driver responded cheerfully and asked enthusiastically, "Little girl, do you want me to wait for you?" Shen Tianxing shook his head and said with a smile, "No need, I don't know when I can do something good." Seeing Shen Tianxing get out of the car and leave, the driver's uncle quickly called her, "Little girl, I still want to ask you for money." Shen Tianxing waved to him, "No need to look for it, go back." Thinking that the master had a good attitude, Shen Tianxing reminded him again, "Master, when you go back soon, don't take the road around the city." The uncle driver was stunned for a moment. He didn't know why Shen Tianxing said that, so he casually replied, "Okay, I'll remember it." When he was about to enter Ring City Road when he returned, Shen Tianxing's reminder suddenly rang in his mind. He thought, it's better to believe that there is something than to believe that it doesn't exist. He tried to be more cautious, and there was nothing wrong with it. He immediately turned the steering wheel and drove to the side road. A little later, he heard the radio saying that a certain section of the ring road suddenly collapsed, and 2 cars were unable to dodge and fell into it on the spot, causing a serious accident in which 1 person died and 3 were injured. When the uncle driver thought about the time when the road surface collapsed, if he had taken the ring road, the uncle driver broke out in a cold sweat instantly. If it weren't for that little girl, no, this little girl should be a young expert. If she hadn't reminded him, he might have been the one who caused the disaster. He silently thanked Shen Tianxing in his heart. He was such a good person. Little did he know that Shen Tianxing's reminder was also based on his kindness and enthusiasm. If it were another person, Shen Tianxing might not have such good intentions. Besides, after Shen Tianxing got out of the car, he walked into Daowen Hotel. Shen Tianxing's consciousness was like a radar, spreading throughout the Daowen Hotel, and quickly locked onto Wen Zhixin, who lived in the penthouse suite. At this time, Wen Zhixin was sitting alone in the living room of the suite, smoking a cigarette. The TV was turned on and a variety show was playing, but his mind was obviously not on the TV. Shen Tianxing first scanned Wen Zhixin's face with his spiritual consciousness. His thick eyebrows indicate that this man is very emotional. His prominent brow bones indicate that the man has a very strong personality, is chauvinistic, has a stubborn temper and refuses to admit defeat, and has had a rough life. The bridge of his nose is very straight, which means that he is very persistent in everything he does, but he is very self-centered and insists on doing things his own way and does not listen to others' advice. His temples are slightly sunken, indicating that he has some financial luck, but his wealth comes and goes easily and cannot be retained. This man is good looking, but he is doomed to be lonely all his life. And now his yin-tang has begun to turn black, and there is a sense of death lingering around him. It seems that his time is numbered. After seeing his face, Shen Tianxing realized that it was no wonder Wen Zhixin chose to come back for revenge at this time. Maybe he was thinking that if he didn't take revenge, he would never have a chance again, right? As Shen Tianxing walked, she used her spiritual consciousness to help Wen Zhixin look at the photo. When she finished reading the photo, she also walked to the door of Wen Zhixin's room. She reached out and knocked lightly on the door. What surprised her was that Wen Zhixin opened the door without even asking who the visitor was. When Wen Zhixin saw a very pretty little girl standing outside the door, he narrowed his eyes, looked at Shen Tianxing up and down, and then asked directly, "Are you the one invited by the Zhang family, the master who broke our ways?" After Wen Zhixin killed Sun Hongbing, he fled Sioux City and smuggled to Hong Kong Island with others. He has lived in Hong Kong Island for more than 30 years. As Shen Tianxing sees his face, he has made a lot of money, lived in a good building, driven a good car, and had a woman, but everything has always been like a passing cloud. No matter how hard you stay, it will be all in vain. People on Hong Kong Island have always believed in Feng Shui. This time, Wen Zhixin hired that evil practitioner at a high price just to fulfill his wish that he had remembered and hated his whole life before he died. Seeing that he addressed her with you, Shen Tianxing nodded politely to him, "It's me." When Wen Zhixin heard Shen Tianxing's confirmation, his heart was in turmoil again. He looked at Shen Tianxing in disbelief. He couldn't believe that this very beautiful little girl in front of him was the master who scared off the evil old man with a terrible reputation and ran away. Shen Tianxing's 5 senses were sensitive and he could naturally sense the ups and downs of Wen Zhixin's uneasy aura. After she entered the room, she sat down directly on the main seat of the sofa without Wen Zhixin's greeting, and then said to Wen Zhixin, "Mr. Wen, let's sit down and chat." Wen Zhixin didn't say much and sat down next to Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing was a little surprised that he actually chose a subordinate position even though she had chosen to take the lead. Shen Tianxing said directly to him, "Mr. Wen, the 3 men of the Zhang family were on the verge of death due to the evil practices you invited, but they were all saved by me and the hospital. But I want to tell you a news, maybe you will be very happy to hear this. After Mr. Zhang was rescued and knew that you were back to take revenge, he chose to commit suicide again and wanted to atone for his sins with death. What do you think of this matter? Do you want to continue to take revenge?" Wen Zhixin looked at Shen Tianxing steadily and asked in a deep voice, "What if I insist on the death of the Zhang family?" Shen Tianxing smiled faintly, "Then it depends on whether you have the ability. Zhang Hua is my classmate, and I will take care of the Zhang family." Wen Zhixin suddenly laughed softly, "The Zhang family is really lucky to be blessed by the master. Okay, since the old man has died to atone for his sins, I will not follow you anymore for your sake. The rest of the Zhang family are worried about this. I wonder if master is willing to let me go." Shen Tianxing sneered, "Even if I let you go, with your current physical condition, you won't survive more than a month." Wen Zhixin was not surprised at all that Shen Tianxing could see his physical condition. If an expert has no skills at all, can he still be called an expert? Seeing the gloom on his brows, Shen Tianxing lowered his head and remained silent, then asked him directly, "Mr. Wen, can you please tell me who the evil one is? Where is he now?" Wen Zhixin refused without hesitation, "I'm sorry. I asked someone to do something, but his skills were inferior and he lost to you. That's because of his incompetence, but I can't reveal someone else's secret because of it. It's unfair." Shen Tianxing stood up, "Okay, if you don't want to say it, I can still find him. Mr. Wen, we will never see you again." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 64. Wen Zhixin watched Shen Tianxing walk towards the door, and opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but in the end, he chose silence, and just watched Shen Tianxing walk out the door, letting out a heavy sigh. What Shen Tianxing just said was true. She could indeed find the evil Taoist named Huang Zhen without hearing the information from Zhishan. Just now, the first time she saw Wen Zhishan, she opened her eyes to him. Wen Zhishan's life flashed through her mind one by one like a horse. Naturally, she also saw the scene where Wen Zhishan spent a lot of money to find the evil deal of Huang Zhen through various connections. After Shen Tianxing walked out of the Daowen Hotel, he took out his cell phone and dialed Huang Zhengzaidao's cell phone number. As she expected, the mobile phone number used by Huang Zhengzaidao to contact Wen Zhishan had become empty. It is estimated that when Huang Zhen was attacked by her, he quickly fled Su City and found a place to hide. Shen Tianxing glanced at the sky that was already turning westward. She counted with her fingers. Huang Zhen was far away from her now. It seemed that there was no way to catch Huang Zhen today. Although Shen Tianxing wanted to do justice for heaven, she was unwilling to affect her own life for these things. She put the matter aside for the time being, took a taxi and went directly to her home in Jingxia Garden. After returning home, Shen Tianxing took out his cell phone again and called Zhang Hua first. "Zhang Hua, I found your uncle. He now has terminal liver cancer and only has a month to live at most. He told me that since the old man has passed away, he will not attack you again. What do you think about it now? Do you want to pursue it further?" "Tianxing, thank you for being so busy and running around for our family. I'll ask my dad about this and see what he means. I'll call you later. Where are you now?" Zhang Hua's voice was a little low and hoarse, and he was obviously not in a good mood. Shen Tianxing also understood very well that no one would be in a good mood when facing the death of a loved one. Shen Tianxing replied, "I have just returned home. Please express my condolences and take care of yourself. If there is anything else you need my help with, just let me know." Feeling Shen Tianxing's concern and care, Zhang Hua's eyes were hot and he said in a choked voice, "Well, thank you very much." Shen Tianxing sighed in his heart. The sadness of the death of a loved one are destined to be irreplaceable, then let's do this first. Zhang Hua also said simply, "Okay, let's do this for now. By the way, Tianxing, help me ask the class teacher for a week's leave tomorrow. I will go back to school in a week." Shen Tianxing responded softly, "Okay, I will help you ask for leave, don't worry." "Thanks." "You're welcome, bye." "Goodbye." After hanging up Zhang Hua's call, Shen Tianxing put his phone away, took his clothes, and went into the bathroom to wash his hair and take a shower. After he was clean and refreshed, Shen Tianxing felt hungry. She dodged directly into the space and found Zhigu Zixi wearing an apron and working on a cookbook in the kitchen of the space. There were several prepared dishes on the table next to it. The color of the dishes was pretty good, which made Shen Tianxing have some expectations for the taste of the dishes. As soon as Zhigu Zixi saw Shen Tianxing coming in, a faint smile appeared on Jun's face. "Little Xing, are you back? Go wash your hands and get ready to eat." Shen Tianxing smiled and replied, "I just washed it. I'll get the dishes and chopsticks out." After Shen Tianxing picked up the bowls and chopsticks, he took out the prepared mandarin fish with pine nuts, fried rabbit meat with green pepper, and drunken huadiao shrimp. Smelling the rich and tempting aroma of these vegetables and meat, Shen Tianxing couldn't help but pick up the chopsticks and secretly picked up the rabbit meat and took a bite. Shen Tianxing's eyes lit up when he felt the crisp, crunchy, numb, spicy, and fragrant taste exploding in his mouth. I really didn't expect that her Zixi would not show off her power, but when she showed off her power, her craftsmanship was comparable to that of a chef. Sharp. Sharp. Shen Tianxing took a bite, but couldn't help but pick up another chopstick and take another bite. When Zhigu Zixi came out with the beer duck, he felt happy when he saw Shen Tianxing eating there. It seemed that his way of pleasing her won her heart. Anyway, He had nothing to do. He decided that in addition to practicing, he would cook all kinds of delicious food for her in the future. Shen Tianxing was enjoying his meal when he felt Zhuge Zixi coming out. Shen Tianxing, who had no time to wipe his mouth clean, could only show an innocent smile to Zhuge Zixi. Xiao Zixi, the food you cook is so delicious. Is this really your first time cooking? Zhuge Zixi looked at her with a gentle smile. Of course it's the first time. He leaned into her ear again and whispered, I will dedicate all my firsts to you. When Zhuge Zixi pronounced the word first time with an accent, Shen Tianxing suddenly lost his mind. Her cheeks also turned red instantly. Ah, when did her master learn to be so seductive? She can't hold herself any longer. What should I do? Zhuge Zixi saw Shen Tianxing's flushed face, and an intoxicating smile flashed through her clear eyes. But he was smart enough not to expose her. He just naturally pulled out the chair for her and said, Little Xing Xing, sit down and eat. Shen Tianxing glanced at him sheepishly, and she was relieved when she saw that Zhuge Zixi didn't stare at her or tease her. During the meal, Zhuge Zixi kept picking up vegetables for her, peeling the drunken shrimps for her and putting them directly into her mouth. At the end of the meal, Shen Tianxing couldn't tell whether it was the scent of Huidiao wine in the drunken shrimp that intoxicated her, or the master's gentleness that intoxicated her. She felt that her eyes were already intoxicated and her head was a little dizzy. Zhuge Zixi wiped her mouth gently, and when she saw her face was flushed, her eyes were blurred, and she looked like she couldn't even stand still. He quickly picked her up. Shen Tianxing hooked his neck and said in a low voice, Master, am I not dreaming? Zhuge Zixi responded, No. Shen Tianxing chuckled happily, Isn't it a dream? That's great. Master, do you know? I have always dreamed that one day, you would hold me, kiss me, and then love me fiercely. When Zhuge Zixi heard her sweet voice saying love me fiercely, she suddenly felt like her brain was exploding, and her body was burning like a fire. He suppressed his inner impulse and carefully placed Shen Tianxing on the bed. Just when he wanted to take her hand off and lift the quilt to cover her, Shen Tianxing pulled it down suddenly. His lips happened to be printed on hers. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 65. The lips of the two people were tightly stuck together. Feeling the softness on her lips, Shen Tianxing, who was still dazed just now, suddenly widened his eyes. When Zhuge Zixi felt the softness on her lips, her eyes also widened. The two people stared at each other, and their faces turned red in an instant. Reason kept telling them that they should separate immediately. But their bodies and minds told them that they were reluctant to leave each other. The two of them stayed like this for a minute or two without moving. When Zhuge Zixi regained his senses and saw Shen Tianxing's still slightly immature face, he quickly stood up and fled into the bathroom with a blushing face. He turned on the faucet, took the cold water with both hands, and splashed it on his hot face. When Shen Tianxing outside saw him escaping into the bathroom, she was so embarrassed that she pulled up the quilt and buried her red face under the quilt, too embarrassed to come out again. In the bathroom, Zhuge Zixi felt his face getting cold, and then he looked at himself in the mirror. He discovered that although his face was no longer red, his eyes were frighteningly bright, as if he had opened the door to another wonderful world. Zhuge Zixi murmured in her mind, the little star is his. He encouraged himself in his mind and returned to his normal appearance, then opened the bathroom door and walked out again. Seeing Shen Tianxing shyly smothered in the quilt, Zhuge Zixi smiled slightly. It turns out that he is not the only one like this, little Xing Xing is the same. Zhuge Zixi suddenly felt warm in her heart, and there was a sweet love flowing in her heart. But now it was the first kiss for both of them. It was sweet but a little awkward. He thought it was better to let Shen Tianxing calm down quietly. He said to Shen Tianxing, little Xing Xing, I'm going to practice. Shen Tianxing responded in a muffled voice under the quilt, okay. Sensing that Zhuge Zixi had gone to the training room, Shen Tianxing pulled back the quilt and let out a long breath. In her previous life, she had been pursuing her master since she grew up, but the cold master never let her succeed. In this life, the master has also been reincarnated and has no original memory. He is like a baby, starting from scratch and accepting the world again. He has been sick again and has very little contact with the outside world. He mostly interacts with books and family members. Today's masters, even if they have the same IQ, are as pure as a blank sheet of paper. He is still a young man who is a little curious, a little ignorant, and a little eager about feelings. He is her master, but he is completely different from the master in his previous life. Shen Tianxing also doesn't know, after the master has improved his cultivation, opened his spiritual aperture, and integrated all the memories of the cold master in his previous life, will this cute and lovable master disappear again? I hope not. Shen Tianxing prefers the current master, who is not as indifferent, so alienated, so aloof and unattainable as the master in his previous life. The current master will laugh with her and make fun with her, giving her a sense of closeness and intimacy with her peers. Even if the master in her previous life loved her and gave her everything, he would never give her what she wanted most. But the master in this life still loves her and dotes on her, but is willing to put down his body, wash her hands and make soup for her, and do everything for her. That's why Shen Tianxing never wanted his master to recover his memory. Even if she has to work harder now and teach her master to grow up bit by bit, she doesn't want him to suddenly turn back into the powerful and cold master who can dominate the world after he regains his memory. While Shen Tianxing was filled with emotions here, Zhuge Zixi next door was also in a state of turmoil. It's just that what he thinks about is not the past life, he only thinks about the present and the future. He wants to be with little Xing forever, he wants to take little Xing out, and he desperately wants everyone in the family to know her and recognize her. He even wants to tell the whole world that the little star is his. No one can get involved. From this point of view, Zhuge Zixi's domineering and strong desire for exclusivity still exist. He wanted to become powerful, he wanted to surpass Little Star quickly, he wanted to become more powerful, he wanted to protect her, and he wanted to let her live a carefree life. Now besides practicing, he can only practice. With this belief, Zhuge Zixi calmed down again and entered the state of cultivation with full concentration. When I woke up the next day, I had to go to school again. When Shen Tianxing saw that Zhuge Zixi was still practicing, he didn't bother him, so he left the space by himself, washed and changed, and rushed to school. When he arrived at school, Shen Tianxing first went to the head teacher Wang Ziqiang and told him that Principal Zhang passed away and Zhang Hua wanted to take a week's leave. He also helped fill out the leave form. Wang Ziqiang also said that teachers like him were notified of the death of Principal Zhang, and they all felt sad. The number 1 middle school might also hold a memorial service for Principal Zhang. After Shen Tianxing and Wang Ziqiang chatted for a few words, they returned to the classroom. When she arrived in the classroom, she found that Wu Haishan and Gao Lingfeng had already arrived. When Wu Haishan and Gao Lingfeng saw Shen Tianxing coming, they quickly waved to her. Wu Haishan came over and asked Shen Tianxing in a low voice, "Tianxing, do you know that Grandpa Zhang died yesterday?" Shen Tianxing nodded, "I know, Zhang Hua asked me to ask for leave for him. I just went to the head teacher to ask for leave for him." Wu Haishan sighed, "I didn't expect that Grandpa Zhang would be dead as soon as he fell." Shen Tianxing didn't tell them that Mr. Zhang was saved and later committed suicide, so he just let them lament. When Shen Tianxing and the others started their normal classes, Dr. Li Ming on the other side was also greatly surprised when he received the news of Mr. Jiang's death. He couldn't believe the fact. When Mr. Zhang was discharged from the hospital, he was already in full swing. Why did he say that he died of a brain tumor in the blink of an eye? There must be something wrong in between. Dr. Li Ming said to the spy who brought him the news, "Find out the reason for me. The life and death of Mr. Zhang is related to the life and death of his family. If Mr. Zhang really died of a brain tumor, he would have to think carefully about whether to invite this little fairy to come out again. If the cause of Mr. Jiang's death was a hidden secret, then he would have to carry out the original plan and hurry up to invite the little god out of the mountain to see his grandfather. Grandpa is the anchor of the Li family. Once Grandpa passes away, the Li family will surely plummet. As long as there is a chance to let their old man live one more day, they will never give up." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 66. One day later, the Li family's spies reported to Li Ming, "Young master, I found out that Mr. Zhang did not die of a brain tumor, but died of suicide by taking sleeping pills. The specific reason seems to be that something happened to their family this time. It was someone who did something wrong. It seems that that person had some grudge against Mr. Zhang, which caused Mr. Zhang to commit suicide." Li Ming felt relieved instantly after hearing this. As long as there is nothing wrong with Mr. Jiang's health or treatment, it will be fine. He then said to the Li family's spies, "As long as Mr. Zhang does not die from a brain tumor, then it proves that the little fairy's method is effective. Please help me check again. This little fairy's information is no matter how big or small it is, including what she likes, what she hates, who is around her, and who she cares about the most. I have checked everything carefully, do you understand? Clear." After hanging up the call from the Li family spy, Li Ming sighed softly, hoping that everything would go as smoothly as he wished and that nothing would go wrong again. His grandfather's body didn't have much time left. When Li Ming got Shen Tianxing's personal information sent back by the spies, he looked over it several times and felt that this little girl Shen Tianxing was definitely not simple. A small Shen family, since she was brought back to the Shen family has been rising step by step, and everyone in the Shen family has also begun to practice martial arts. Her parents also gradually became the richest people in Su City, and they were also very low-key. Her cousins are all outstanding and have extraordinary skills. They have all entered the military or police academies. Her cousins who have graduated have also worked in the military and police lines. Her uncle could have been promoted, but it was because he was unwilling to be promoted that he continued to hold the position of village chief of Xiaxia village. It was not because the superiors did not give him a promotion. There is another point that also attracted Li Ming's attention. That is, the things grown in Shen's ecological manner are particularly delicious and nutritious. Although they advertise sky-green vegetables and fruits without pesticides and chemical fertilizers, Li Ming knows that the articles in them are not that good. Simple. I really didn't understand it, but when I understood it, I was shocked. The young Shen Tianxing should be the core figure of their Shen family. However, the more capable Shen Tianxing is, the happier Li Ming will be. Doesn't this mean that as long as he can ask Shen Tianxing to take action, his grandfather's disease will hopefully be cured? Li Ming originally didn't expect to come to see Shen Tianxing so soon, but he received a call from home again today, saying that his grandfather was dying. G.E. Hickson, the Chinese medicine doctor, told their family directly that even if they risked their lives with ginseng, their old man would only be able to survive for half a month at most. In the words of the Chinese doctor G.E. Hickson, he already had the intention of asking the Li family to prepare for the funeral. After receiving the news, Li Ming didn't want to wait any longer for news from Zhang Yanjiao, and simply came to the door himself. Although Shen Tianxing had guessed early on that if he rescued the Zhang family and his son in front of so many people, he would definitely attract the attention of some caring people. But she still didn't expect that someone would come to her door so soon. She had just returned home to Jinxia Garden after school when she heard the doorbell ringing. Shen Tianxing was not in a hurry to open the door, but first took a look at the people outside with his spiritual consciousness. She saw a slender young man with gold-rimmed glasses and a gentle appearance ringing the doorbell. Shen Tianxing frowned slightly. Who is this person? She doesn't know him. Li Ming, who was standing outside the door, saw that no one opened the door and rang the doorbell again. He had calculated the time to come here after school, knowing that Shen Tianxing should be at home at this time. Shen Tianxing saw that this man was willing to keep guarding the door, so he went over and opened the door. When Li Ming saw Shen Tianxing finally opening the door, he quickly greeted her with a smile. "Hello, classmate Shen. My name is Li Ming. I am a doctor in the intensive care unit of Suzhou First People's Hospital. I have something to talk to you about just for a moment, okay?" When Shen Tianxing heard that Li Ming introduced him as a doctor from Su City No. 1 People's Hospital, he became even more certain that he must have lured someone here because he knew about the Zhang family. Shen Tianxing stretched out his hand and said, "Come in and talk." Li Ming didn't expect Shen Tianxing to be so easy to talk to, so he smiled and said repeatedly, "Thank you, thank you." Walking into the living room, Shen Tianxing asked Li Ming to sit down, poured him a cup of tea, and then asked calmly, "Dr. Li came to see me. What's the matter?" Li Ming said directly, "Classmate Shen, I won't beat around the bush. I'm here today to seek medical treatment for my family." Shen Tianxing replied calmly, "Sorry, I focus on my studies now, and I don't have any medical qualification certificate. At most, I just show it to relatives and friends. I don't dare to go to see a doctor, and I can't bear this responsibility." Li Ming asked anxiously, "Classmate Shen, we can take all responsibility on our own. As long as my grandfather's illness can be cured, we will be very grateful. Feel free to ask for any conditions you have." When Shen Tianxing heard Li Ming's words, his heart moved, so he opened his eyes and took a look at Li Ming's life experience. When she saw that Li Ming's home was in the royal courtyard in the center of the capital, she was immediately surprised and asked again, "Dr. Li, may I ask who your grandfather is?" Li Ming did not dare to be negligent and replied respectfully, "My grandfather is Li Gangii. He has served the country and the people all his life and is also very important to our Li family. Therefore, I beg Mr. Shen for help and give my grandfather a chance to survive." Shen Tianxing looked straight at Li Ming and asked again, "Have you ever thought about it? Once I receive your grandfather's consultation, I will be able to hide my identity even if I want to, in that place in the capital where dragons and crouching tigers are hidden. Can I still have a leisurely life in the future?" Li Ming quickly promised, "We will definitely not leak you." Shen Tianxing smiled softly, "Even if you don't leak it, someone with care will find out after checking it. Aren't you also such a caring person?" Li Ming quickly explained to Shen Tianxing, "I'm sorry. Classmate Shen, please forgive me for being anxious to save my grandfather. I have offended you. It doesn't matter how you punish me. I just ask you to save my grandfather's life." Shen Tianxing chuckled again, "You have so much confidence in me? Aren't you afraid that I will screw up the Li family's big event?" Li Ming said in a very affirmative tone, "I believe in you. You can definitely do it." Then, Li Ming sighed softly and said, "Besides, my grandfather has been judged by the Chinese medicine that he will not live for more than half a month. Therefore, whether it can be cured or not, we will bear the responsibility and will never embarrass you of." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 67. Shen Tianxing thought for a while and said to Li Ming, "Go back first and let me think about it. I will give you an answer tomorrow night." Li Ming stood up, left his business card to Shen Tianxing, and bowed deeply to Shen Tianxing, "Classmate Shen, please." Shen Tianxing also stood up and opened the door for him, "Please go slowly." Li Ming smiled and waved to Shen Tianxing, "Goodbye, classmate Shen." "Goodbye." Shen Tianxing closed the door, quickly took a shower, changed clothes, and then stepped into the space. She wanted to go in and ask Zhigu Zixi to see if he knew about this Li family matter. If the Li family does good things, she may consider saving that person's life. But if the Li family is not good at dealing with others and will bully others, then no matter how powerful this person is, Shen Tianxing will never come to his rescue. There is a spirit in heaven, and if she helps eliminate one evil person, it is equivalent to indirectly saving countless people, and has countless merits. Similarly, if she saves an evil person, she will indirectly kill countless people, which will also cause karma for her. As soon as Shen Tianxing entered the living space, he smelled the tempting aroma of food. She teleported directly to the kitchen, and sure enough she saw Zhigu Zixi making dinner for her again. He saw Shen Tianxing coming in and smiled softly, "Xing, are you back? Sit down for a while. There is a juice drink I squeezed on the table. I'll just fry another dish." Shen Tianxing stepped forward and asked, "Do you want my help?" Zhigu Zixi chuckled, "No, I can still handle it." When Shen Tianxing heard what he said, he smiled and said, "Okay, then I'll wait and eat. Go. Be good." Hearing his tone of voice, which was like coaxing a child, Shen Tianxing couldn't help laughing. But she still went to the living room obediently and saw several large bottles of juice drinks placed on the coffee table in the living room. Zhigu Zixi also thoughtfully wrote on paper, "Watermelon juice, orange juice, grape juice, apple milk juice, peach juice." These fruits are all made of raw materials from the living space. Strictly speaking, these fruits should be called spiritual fruits and fairy fruits. After the juice is made, add some spiritual spring water. Not only does it taste very sweet, it is also very good for the body. When you drink it, you can feel refreshed all over your body. Shen Tianxing only gave these good things to her relatives. She never took them out, let alone sold them. Even if she wants to give it away, she will only take fruits produced by Shen's ecological manner. Even the fruits produced by Shen's ecological manner are more delicious and healthier than the fruits outside because they are nourished by the spirit gathering array she has laid out. This is why the fruits produced by their family are very popular. Shen Tianxing chose her favorite peach juice to drink. As soon as the sweet peach juice entered her throat, Shen Tianxing felt extremely comfortable and her mood was bubbling. After drinking half a glass of juice, Shen Tianxing heard Zhigu Zixi calling her, "Xing, come over for dinner." "Coming." Shen Tianxing walked over and took a look. On the table were 5 dishes and 1 soup, roasted rabbit, grilled fish, sizzling beef, pickled pepper frog, soup bean sprouts, and flying dragon mushroom soup. Looking at the delicious food on the table, Shen Tianxing looked at Zhigu Zixi with some disbelief. "Zixi, you really made this? You are so amazing. You have only learned to cook for 2 days and you can make it at this level, he is truly a genius." Zhigu Zixi smiled faintly, "There's nothing difficult about this. As long as you control the steps, heat, and seasoning, cooking is also a very simple matter." Shen Tianxing gave him a thumbs up. Geniuses are really different. They can do anything with ease. Zhigu Zixi looked at her with a smile, "Eat quickly." At the end of the meal, the large portion of 5 dishes and 1 soup was all wiped out by Shen Tianxing and Zhigu Zixi. Shen Tianxing put down his chopsticks with satisfaction, wiped his mouth, and said to Zhigu Zixi with a smile, "Zixi, I feel so happy." "Thank you. Just be happy." After Zhigu Zixi said with a smile, he directly threw a cleaning technique on the bowls and chopsticks, and the bowls and chopsticks instantly returned to their white and new appearance. He waved his hand again and used the object controlling technique, and the bowls and chopsticks on the table flew towards the chess pieces in the kitchen as if they were alive. Shen Tianxing looked at him in surprise again. "Zixi, you are making great progress. You can use both the object control and cleaning skills with ease. Dugozixi glanced at her with a smile. I think it's not fast enough, Xing, I want to protect you. Shen Tianxing understood what he meant and couldn't help but hold his hand. I understand what you mean, but you must not rush for success in cultivation. You must be steady so that there will be no problems in the future. Do you understand? Dugozixi nodded slightly. I understand, don't worry, I have a sense of discretion and will not act recklessly. Shen Tianxing hummed, and then asked him, by the way, do you know Li Gang Ai? Dugozixi raised his eyebrows slightly. We know you. Do you have anything to ask Grandpa Li? Shen Tianxing smiled and told Dugozixi about Li Ming's visit for medical treatment, and asked him, I want to know the character of the Li family. If their character is not good, I will not take action saved. Dugozixi smiled slightly and said, don't worry, Grandpa Li's family are all good, and they have a good relationship with my family. Xing, if you can cure Grandpa Li, please help Grandpa Li. At this point, Dugozixi's eyes lit up again. Xing, when you arrive in the capital, you can come to my house as a guest. My grandfather, my father, and my mother have always wanted to meet you. Shen Tianxing was a little embarrassed. Is it too soon for me to visit your home right now? Dugozixi immediately said, not fast at all. He wished he could tell the whole world right now that Shen Tianxing was his wife. Shen Tianxing smiled shyly, okay then, I will promise Li Ming, and I will stop by your house to sit there. When Dugozixi saw that Shen Tianxing agreed, she hugged her with joy. That's great. Xing, I'm very happy that you are willing to come to my house. Shen Tianxing is willing to go to his house. Doesn't this mean that she is willing to admit their relationship? Seeing his excited look, Shen Tianxing couldn't help but smile. Come on, it's just a visit to your house. Don't be so excited. Think about it for me. What gift should I give to your grandfather and you, parents? Dugozixi helped her with ideas. Grandpa is getting older, and what we care about most is of course his health. You can give him health pills. My dad is the same, he can give health pills. As for my mother, women are all. If you love beauty, give me some skincare and beauty products. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 68. After hearing this, Shen Tianxing immediately smiled and said, that's simple. We can't bring out anything else. There are so many health-preserving pills and beauty pills. Apart from these two, how about we add something else? I always feel that this is it. Two things are too little. Dugozixi laughed dumbly. Everything in her hand was enough to make anyone crazy when she took it out, but she didn't care at all, making him not know what to say. He was afraid that if he spoke too much, she would be burdened, so he just smiled and said, then you can do whatever you want. Shen Tianxing thought for a while, raised his starry eyes, and said to him with a smile, then I will make a protective jade tablet for your grandfather and your parents. With these two things, the health-preserving pill and the protective jade tablet, it won't be a problem for Grandpa Dugu to live to be over 100 years old. When Dugozixi heard the jade protective plaque, his eyes suddenly lit up. Shen Tianxing had given him one before. After he put it on, he felt that if he didn't practice, the spiritual energy would continuously enter his body and nourish his body. According to Xiao Xing, the protective jade metal also has a defensive function, which can't be penetrated by bullets. He has not tried this function yet. However, he believed in little Xing, what she said must be true. Seeing Shen Tianxing's thoughtfulness, Dugozixi looked at her even more intensely, and said with deep affection, Xing, thank you. Shen Tianxing chuckled and said, let's stop thanking each other. Now I'm going to refine the jade tablets. What about you? Are you going to practice, or are you going to come with me? Duguzixi immediately said, I'm with you. I also want to learn how to refine jade tablets. Shen Tianxing smiled and said, okay, let's go, I'll teach you. Shen Tianxing held Duguzixi's hand, and the two of them went to the weapon refining room together. In the refining room, there are many rare treasures collected by Duguzixi and Shen Tianxing in their previous lives. Jade is a treasure in the human world. But in the fairy world, jade is the most inferior thing. It's okay to use it to make some protective jade tokens for mortals, but if you want to make other good things, it's not okay. Duguzixi watched Shen Tianxing open a mustard seed storage cabinet in the weapon refining room. When he saw the entire mustard storage cabinet filled with glass emeralds, glass violets, glass red emeralds, and the finest mutton fat jade and other nephrite and jadeite, even he, who was born into a noble family in this life, I couldn't help but be shocked and dumbfounded. Just the contents of this mustard storage cabinet are priceless. If sold, they would make her extremely rich. Look here, how many mustard storage cabinets are there in rows and rows? The mustard storage cabinet, as the name suggests, is a drawer grid like an ordinary medicine cabinet. It doesn't look big from the outside, but when you open it, it turns out to be a small mustard space inside, which is similar to a small space ring and can store a lot thing. Generally, the medicine refining rooms and weapon refining rooms used by people in the immortal world need to store a lot of medicine refining materials and weapon refining materials, so they will use this kind of mustard storage cabinet. At this time, Shen Tianxing couldn't help but feel a little funny when he saw the wonderful expression on Duguzixi's face, but he also felt a little sad. Master has no memory of his previous life. He no longer remembers how powerful and domineering he was in the fairy world in his previous life. Now that he sees something like this, he feels so surprised. Although Shen Tianxing prefers to be with her current master and is more comfortable getting along with her, in her heart, she often misses and admires the cold master from her previous life. Her master should be born to look down upon the world, dominate the world, and be mighty and domineering. She has been praying in her heart that if one day the master regains his memory, he can fuse her with the most perfect master. Next, while Shen Tianxing was refining the protective jade tablet, he explained to Duguzixi how to carve the spirit gathering array and defensive array on the jade tablet, and how to refine a top-grade protective jade tablet. This kind of jade metal that gathers spiritual energy for health and defense is considered a very high-level gift in the mortal world. Shen Tianxing was very sincere in giving this kind of protective jade token to the Dugu family. At least, after listening to Shen Tianxing's detailed description and explanation, Duguzixi was moved by Shen Tianxing's sincerity. Zixi, thank you for being so good to my family. Shen Tianxing glanced at him with a smile. If you are good to me, I will naturally be good to you, and I will also be kind to your family. Duguzixi immediately said, Xing, I will also be kind to your family. Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded, I believe it. With Shen Tianxing's current level of cultivation at the 9th level of the Foundation Establishment realm, which is about to form a pill, it is very simple to refine 3 protective jade tablets. It didn't take long for Shen Tianxing to refine it and take out 3 antique-looking brocade boxes to put them in. The many large and small celadone bottles for elixirs, large and small brocade boxes for gifts, and some fruit baskets, bags, boxes, etc. that are used in her space are all designed by Shen Tianxing himself and then customized outside. When Shen Tianxing stayed with Duguzixi in space, he always felt that time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, the alarm clock outside rang again. Shen Tianxing told Duguzixi and didn't let him make breakfast. He only took a few spiritual fruits and walked out, preparing to pack up and go to school. When Duguzixi saw Shen Tianxing going out, he also stepped out of the space and prepared to go downstairs to have breakfast with his grandfather and parents. By the way, he also told them in advance that Tianxing was going to the capital for business and would come to visit their home. In the hall downstairs, Mr. Dugu, Mrs. Dugu, and Dugu Janan were sitting on the sofa watching the morning news on TV. Dugu Zixi's mother Yaningning was in the kitchen, preparing breakfast with Fu's mother. When the family saw Dugu Zixi coming downstairs, they all laughed happily and asked, "Zixi, are you out of seclusion?" Dugu Zixi smiled and called one by one, "Grandpa, Grandma, Dad." Mrs. Dugu said with an angry smile, "You kid, you didn't come out for breakfast yesterday, we were all worried to death, but your grandpa was so arrogant that he said you must be in seclusion and didn't come out." Dugu Zixi explained with a smile, "Grandpa is right, I didn't come out because I was practicing in seclusion. Grandma, there will be many more times like this in the future. Please don't worry about me anymore." Mr. Dugu glanced at his wife, "I just said that Zi-11 will be fine, but you are still worrying." Mrs. Dugu patted her wife lightly and said with an angry smile, "Yes, it's all you can do." Dugu Zixi looked at her grandfather and grandmother, who had been in love all their lives, and said with a smile, "Grandpa, Grandma, Dad, I have great news to tell you today." "What's the good news? Tell me quickly." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 69. Dugu Zixi saw the whole family looking at him expectantly, and couldn't help but smile. "The little fairy you have been waiting for, after all my requests, finally agreed to visit our home. Ah! Real? Very good." Dugu Zixi looked at the family's eyes widened and their faces full of excitement, and she also smiled, "Of course it's true. The little fairy has also prepared very expensive gifts for you all." Dugu Zixi couldn't help but help Shen Tianxing gain favor in front of her family. Sure enough, their family's faces were full of excitement and emotion. Mrs. Dugu smiled and said, "This little god is so polite. He came as soon as he came. What gifts did he bring?" Mr. Dugu quickly asked again, "Zixi, did the little god say when he would come?" Dugu Zixi replied, "It should be tomorrow night. She will come over here because she has something else to do." At this time, Dugu Zixi's mother Yaningning came over from the kitchen. When she saw that everyone was chatting so happily and her son was back, she also smiled and asked, "What are you talking about? Are you so happy? Is something good happening to our family?" Dugu Zixi stood up with a smile, "Mom, the little god said that he will come to our house tomorrow night." Yaningning's eyes widened in surprise, "Really? That's great, great. Xiao 11, what does the little fairy like to eat? Tell Mom, Mom will prepare more dishes." Dugu Zixi smiled lightly and said, "Mom, I will come to cook tomorrow, just wait for me to be filial to you." Yaningning laughed angrily and said, "How can that be okay? It's the first time the little fairy comes here, so you must accompany her, lest she feel uncomfortable in our house and there is no one to talk to and smooth things over." Mrs. Dugu also said on the side, "Zixi, your mother is right, you are responsible for accompanying the little fairy. Fu's mother and your mother are here to cook. They have been doing this for decades. You do not need to worry." Dugu Zixi thought for a moment and realized that Shen Tianxing had an easygoing temperament and was not picky, so he smiled and said, "Okay, then tomorrow it will be hard work for Mom and Fu." While the Dugu family was discussing how to receive Shen Tianxing also called Li Ming on the way to school. "Mr. Li, I agreed to your request. I will be in the capital tomorrow night. You are in the capital, wait for me." When Li Ming on the other end of the phone heard that Shen Tianxing actually agreed, he immediately thanked him happily, "Thank you, classmate Shen, thank you, thank you. Then I'll fly back to the capital right away. What about you? Do you want to sit with me? The plane is over and I can help you book a ticket." Shen Tianxing said calmly, just take care of yourself. I will go there by myself. At 8 o'clock in the evening, pick me up at Dugu's house. Dugu family. Li Ming was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, okay, I'll go to Dugu's house to pick you up at 8 o'clock in the evening. That's it for now, goodbye. After Shen Tianxing said that, he hung up the phone. Li Ming jumped up happily, and immediately called his family, told them the situation, and asked them to prepare for the evening. When the people of the Li family heard that the little immortal invited by Li Ming was related to the Dugu family, they felt puzzled. Why had they never heard of this? They suddenly thought of Dugu Xixi's illness. Could it be that the old man of the Dugu family also invited this little fairy over to treat him? When the Li family thought about it, they felt calmer. They felt that even the Dugu family, who were one level above them, believed in this person, so this person must be very capable. The news that Dugu Xixi is in good health has not been spread yet, so no one in the Li family knows that Dugu Xixi is already well. On the afternoon of this day, Sicheng No. 1 Middle School held a memorial service for the deceased Principal Zhang. Shen Tianxing, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng also participated. At the memorial service, they saw a somewhat haggard Zhang Hua, as well as Jiang's father and mother. The three people also came forward to say hello to them, and asked them to express their condolences and take care of themselves. After school in the afternoon, Shen Tianxing didn't stay long. As soon as the bell rang, he said goodbye to Wu Haishan and Gao Lingfeng, quickly left the school and returned home. This time, instead of taking a shower outside, she entered the space, found Dugu Xixi who was already waiting for her, and pulled him into her room to pick out clothes together. Shen Tianxing picked up a white dress. Xixi, what do you think of this dress? The one-line collar is simple and elegant, and it has an embroidered pattern on the waist. It looks tall and classy, and the white color also looks fairy-like. What do you think? Right. Dugu Xixi smiled and nodded, well, just this one, it will definitely look good on you. Then it's settled. Just wait for me for a while and I'll be out right away. Shen Tianxing entered the bathroom, quickly washed his hair and took a shower. She performed another drying technique to dry her hair, then lightly tied up the front half of her hair, and let the black and smooth back half of her hair hang loosely on her back. Finally, she put on the beautiful skirt and left. Come out. Dugu Xixi looked at the little fairy slowly walking towards her, and felt as if her heart had stopped beating, and she couldn't even blink her eyes, for fear that one breath would scare the little fairy away. Shen Tianxing walked up to him and saw his silly look. He couldn't help but tugged his handsome face and asked him with a playful and angry smile, Xiao Xixi, look at how stupid you look, am I pretty? Dugu Xixi took a deep breath and smiled lightly at her, you are very beautiful, very beautiful, Xing, my family will definitely like you. Shen Tianxing raised his eyebrows and chuckled, I believe it. Let's go then, don't keep your family waiting. Good. Dugu Xixi hugged Shen Tianxing, and with a thought, he appeared in the room outside with Shen Tianxing in his arms. Shen Tianxing looked at Dugu Xixi's room curiously. The layout inside was very simple and clear, without any extra decoration. Is this the room you live in? Dugu Xixi smiled and nodded, let's go, I'll take you downstairs. My grandparents and parents should be waiting for you in the hall downstairs. Good. Shen Tianxing released his consciousness and scanned Dugu's house, and sure enough he found many people sitting in the hall downstairs. She scanned the environment around Dugu's house again and found that there were many masters of the inner sect hidden inside, but there were no cultivators, so she felt confident. The art of cultivating immortals has declined in this world, and those who can practice ancient martial arts are already considered great people in this world. Shen Tianxing held Dugu Xixi's hand and walked downstairs step by step. The Dugu family, who had been paying attention to the activities upstairs, discovered Dugu Xixi and Shen Tianxing as soon as they appeared. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 70. Everyone in the Dugu family stood up. They watched with curiosity and respect as Dugu Zixi slowly walked downstairs holding hands with the fairy-like, elegant Shen Tianxing. They all raised excited smiles and welcomed Shen Tianxing with the most cordial attitude. Arrival. As the elders of the Dugu family, Mr. Dugu and Mrs. Dugu happily stepped forward and said to Shen Tianxing, "Welcome the little fairy to our home." Mrs. Dugu felt particularly happy when she looked at the energetic Shen Tianxing. She was very happy that her grandson could find such a good-looking and capable little girlfriend, and her attitude towards Shen Tianxing was naturally very enthusiastic. "Welcome, little fairy, come and sit here." Dugu Zixi quickly introduced to Shen Tianxing, "Xing, these are my grandfather and grandmother, and those two are my father and mother." Then, he introduced the old man, the old lady, and his father and mother, grandpa, grandma, father and mother. "This is the little god. His name is Shen Tianxing, from Su City." Shen Tianxing looked at Mr. Dugu, Mrs. Dugu, Dugu Junan, and Yaningning one by one, bowed slightly to them, and said with a smile, "Hello, seniors." Tianxing thanks the old man and the seniors for their warm welcome. Mrs. Dugu smiled and said, "You're welcome, little god. You're welcome. Come and sit." Mrs. Dugu kindly stepped forward and took Shen Tianxing's hand. Shen Tianxing did not refuse the old man's kindness, so he let the old man pull her and walk to the couch to sit down. When Shen Tianxing saw that everyone in the Dugu family called her little fairy, she hurriedly replied to the old lady and said to them, "Old lady, please don't call me little fairy. I look so unfamiliar. Why don't you just call me Tianxing, okay?" Seeing that Shen Tianxing was willing to get close to them, Mrs. Dugu smiled happily and said, okay, then I won't be polite and will just call you Tianxing." After everyone sat down, Shen Tianxing took out the gifts for Mr. Dugu and the others from the bag, and said with a smile, "This is a small gift I prepared for everyone. Please accept it, seniors." Dugu Zixi, who was sitting next to her, quickly picked it up for her. He took out all the protective jade plagues inside and personally put them around the necks of his father, grandma, and parents. After they put them on, Dugu Zixi said to them solemnly, "Grandpa, grandma, dad, mom, this is a protective jade medal. It is a priceless treasure that even money can't buy. Wear it on your body. Not only can it keep you healthy and eliminate all diseases, it also has a defensive function that cannot be penetrated by bullets. You must not take it off, let alone give it to others, do you understand?" When Mr. Dugu and the others heard that this protective jade amulet had such an amazing effect, they all looked at Shen Tianxing with moved faces and expressed their gratitude to Shen Tianxing. Mr. Dugu said with excitement, "Little fairy, this gift is too precious. How do you want us to repay the gift?" Mrs. Dugu also squeezed Shen Tianxing's hand in emotion, "Little fairy, this gift is really too precious. How can we thank you?" Shen Tianxing playfully pointed at Dugu Zixi and said with a smile, "Old man and madam, you are welcome. Zixi is the best gift in return for me." When the old lady and Yaningning heard this, they both laughed instantly. Mr. Dugu laughed loudly and said, "Ha ha ha, this is a good return gift. From now on, our Zixi will give it to you. Just pack him back." Everyone laughed even more when they heard the old man's joke that he wished Dugu Zixi could be with Shen Tianxing forever. Dugu Zixi pretended to be displeased and said, "Grandpa, how could you do this? You just sold me for such a small benefit." Mr. Dugu glared, "What do you mean by a little benefit? Your life was saved by a little fairy. Someone said a long time ago that you have to give yourself to save your life. Do you understand?" When Dugu Zixi heard the promise, her handsome face blushed instantly. "Grandpa, please stop making trouble." Mr. Dugu didn't let him go, and still laughed at him. "Oh, you're so shy? Ha ha ha, it's such a rare opportunity to see this side of you." Shen Tianxing and the rest of the Dugu family couldn't stop laughing when they saw the two sons and grandsons bickering back and forth. Dugu Zixi quickly changed the subject. "Grandpa, Grandma, here are some health pills and beauty pills, which are also given to you by Tianxing. From now on, you can take one health pill a year and your health will be guaranteed to be good. Grandma and mother can take one with a pill of beauty pills, you can look at least 10 years younger." Mr. Dugu, Mrs. Dugu, as well as Dugu Junan and Yaningning, were indescribably moved when they saw that Shen Tianxing had prepared these elixirs in addition to the protective jade tablet. They all know in their hearts that these things are legendary and have been lost to history long ago. But Shen Tianxing gave it to their family, everyone had a share, and it was so generous that they all felt a little embarrassed to accept it. Dugu Zixi can understand the complicated emotions in the hearts of her family. These gifts given by Xiaoxingxing are indeed too precious. Even if they are the first wealthy family, they feel that they can't give anything to repay Shen Tianxing's deep friendship. He also changed the subject smartly. "Mom, is our meal ready? Xing and I haven't eaten yet. We are already hungry. Let's start eating. After we finish eating, we will talk again." Yaningning received the hint from her son's eyes and immediately smiled and said, "Yes, yes, yes, I almost forgot. The food is ready. Tianxing, let's get on the table and eat quickly." Chen Tianxing smiled sweetly at Yaningning. "Thank you, Auntie." Yaningning smiled angrily and said, "Why are you thanking me? Come home with Zi11 when you have time, and Auntie will prepare delicious food for you." Faced with Yaningning's overture, Shen Tianxing also accepted it and said with a smile, "Okay." Seeing that Shen Tianxing has such a good personality and is not as withdrawn, aloof and difficult to approach as an expert, everyone in the Dugu family was not only surprised, but also felt lucky and surprised. Although they like Shen Tianxing's powerful ability, if Shen Tianxing's temperament is that of a master, arrogant and withdrawn, and difficult to get along with, then they would rather treat Shen Tianxing as a master than to have her do it. The daughter-in-law of their Dugu family. Fortunately, Shen Tianxing's temperament was beyond their expectations. In this way, the happy event of their family Zixi and Tianxing has become something they look forward to from the bottom of their hearts, hoping that this pair of young lovers can become a true couple as soon as possible. For this reason, everyone in the Dugu family is very happy. Mr. Dugu even took the opportunity and said with a smile, "Zixi, go and take out my bottle of old national wine that has been treasured for 20 years. I am so happy today. I want to drink 2 more glasses with your father."